Hello all, welcome to session 98. In this session, I am going to practically demonstrate one of the commands in Selenium Python, that is options command. So let's get started. What exactly is this command? Using this command in Selenium Python, we can retrieve all the options that are available in the drop-down field or multi-selection box fields into a Python list. Now let me practically demonstrate this command for you. For that, I'll open this PyCharm IDE where we have this Python file. In this Python file, already some sample Selenium automation script is already written for opening the Chrome browser, for maximizing the browser window, and for opening this application URL in the browser like this. Okay, once application URL is opened in the browser window like this, then what we are going to do, we would like to retrieve all these options from this drop down field. Okay, I would like to retrieve all these options from this drop down field. For that, we have to use which command? We have to use options command. But in order to access this options command, we have to create an object for the select predefined class in Selenium Python. Okay. So in order to access that options command, we need to create an object for the select predefined class in Selenium Python like this. Now hold the mouse on this and import this select predefined class of Selenium Python from Selenium library like this. Okay. Fine. So once you create an object, this is not enough case. Okay. So for which drop down field you want to retrieve the options using this options command? For which drop down field or which multi-selection box field or drop down field? This one, right? I need to provide the web element of this particular drop down field from which I need to retrieve the options using the options command inside this object creation statement. Here I need to provide the web element of this drop down field. For that, I need to first create the web element, right? Right click on this drop down field and select inspect option. This HTML code of this drop down field. Copy this ID attribute value so that we can create ID locator for locating that, creating that web element. Here I will say field is equal to some drop down field is equal to driver dot find element by ID. Here pass the ID locator of the drop down field. Now pass this web element of the drop down field in the object creation statement of this select predefined class. Now let's create an object reference case. Okay, for this particular object, let's create an object reference like select is equal to this object reference. Here we are using this select as the object reference for this object. Okay, fine. Now, using this object reference of the select predefined class, we can access this command known as options command. How to use that? I will say select dot options. Okay. This options command of the select predefined class will retrieve all the options that are there in this provided web element. What is this web element referring to? That is a drop down field. All the options, what are the different options? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 options. Older newsletters, doc1, doc2, doc3, doc4 will be retrieved by this options command, and we can store that into a collections list in Python. Okay. That is nothing but we can give some name, guys. Okay. I'll say field options. Here, field options is a variable name given for referring to the collections list. In the previous session, I already explained what is collections data type known as list, how to use the list, okay, in Python and all those stuff. I explained in the previous session, guys. So these options will retrieve all the options that are there in the provided drop down field or whatever the web element of the fields, okay, and will store into this Python list. Fine. Now, in order to retrieve, in order to print all these options, okay, I would like to print all these options that are retrieved and stored into this field options. Okay, how to retrieve, how to print all these options? For that, I'll be using for loop. For option in this field options, there are list of options here in this field options. Okay, for each and every option in this field option, I will iterate this for loop and print the options. Okay, I explained about how to use for loop with the collections list in the previous session again, guys. So refer to the previous session if you are new to this concepts of collections list and how to use for loop with the collections list. Okay, fine. But here, this option is not the visible text. When you click on this drop down, here you can see the visible text. But this is not the visible text, guys. These are the web elements. Each and every option is a web element. But what I want to do is I want to print the visible text, not the web elements. Okay, I don't want to print the web elements here. For each and every option, a web element will be retrieved and printed, right? But I don't want to print the web elements. Rather, I would like to print the text between the tags of this particular web element. Okay. For this option, what is the text between these tags? Older newslet. How to retrieve this particular text of this web element? I have to say option dot text. This command will retrieve the text between the tags of each and every option here, okay, and print. So after printing all these visible texts that are there in this drop down field, I'll simply close the browser, guys. That's it, okay. Run this code. You see all the options that are there in the drop down field. Older newsletters, doc 1, doc 2, doc 3, doc 4 will be printed in the output. Can you see that? Older newsletters, so doc 1, doc 2, doc 3, doc 4 got printed. Similarly, guys, we can count the number of options, okay. This collections list, this field options is nothing but the collections list here, right? This has a predefined command. In Python, we have a predefined command known as len command. Okay, there's a command known as len. If you pass this list into this len command, it will give you the number of options, count of options. Okay, so what I will do here, I will say print of len of this field options. So this will count the number of options in this drop down field, and we are printing that count in the output. So before printing all these options, the number of options will be printed. How many options? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 will be printed in the output, guys. Run this. As you can see now, the number of options also got printed, guys. Okay, by using this statement. Fine. Now one more thing, guys. So this options command, okay, can also be used with the multi-selection box fields. Okay, here we have experimented with the drop-down field. So in order to retrieve all these options that are there in this multi-selection box field and counting these options in a multi-selection box field. So what I am going to do is, in place of the drop-down field, I am going to provide the multi-selection box field. So right click, select inspect, and this is a locator for this multi-selection box field. I'll copy this locator and go here. And in place of this drop down locator, that is drop one, I'm going to paste this locator for locating the multi-selection box field. Okay, that will store into the this particular web element known as field. Same field is passed into this object creation statement of this select class. And here options are retrieved. Options will be retrieved from this multi-selection box field instead of the drop-down field now. And also here, the count of the options that are there in the multi-selection box field will be printed here. And also each and every option, text of each and every option that is there inside this multi-selection box field will be printed here. Fine, as usual. Okay, the same way that we have already done with the drop-down field. Simply run it. Before running, you can see that this multi-selection box field has 4 options. So here in the output, what should be printed? Instead of 5, 4 should be printed. And here, all the 4 options names, like that is Volvo, Swift, Hyundai, and Audi should be printed in the output, okay, after 4. So now let's run this. As you can see, the number of options in the multi-selection box field are 4. So 4 got printed, and all the text, okay, text of each and every option here, that is Volvo, Swift, Hyundai, and Audi of this multi-selection box field got printed in the output. So hope guys you understood how to use this options command in Selenium Python in this session. So that's it guys. See you in the next video session. Thank you. Bye.